Hey traders, charting man Dan of the chart guys, checking in on the broader market. Bears winning today, controlling the morning, and the Nasdaq and S&P 500 confirming the 5-minute downtrend on the morning was the Bears proving to us that they had some momentum in their favor. So the daily uptrends are at risk of being lost at this point. Again, we know weekly consolidation will not surprise us when it happens next because we've seen a weekly stair-step pattern for 6 weeks in a row. And we're looking at the low of yesterday's reaction because if that level breaks, for me, that's a daily lower high and lower low. And we will also be losing daily EMA 12 for the first time in a couple of weeks. So what the bulls hope for overnight is a 4-hour tightening range. We have that candle. This is the 4-hour futures chart. That wild Powell candle. And we essentially dumped and then bounced. And now the bulls must hold that low to try and form a 4-hour equilibrium. But the fact that we've already retraced this much of the move is a bit favorable to bears. We retraced about 70% on the S&P 500 and a little bit more on the Nasdaq. So it's all about the low of yesterday tomorrow and the inside bars today. And bears want to see, again, one thing we're not seeing is all major sectors showing weakness at the same time during any of these trading days. And today was all Nasdaq weakness, but the healthcare sector and the financial sector held on just fine. So it's really just little pockets of bear action. And what the bears want to see is the entire market pulling back, showing a little bit of a return to fear, which we have not seen in a while. So Nasdaq, a little bit weaker. Again, the retracement more significant. Still possible to set up a 4-hour higher low overnight to see an equilibrium. But the burden is on bulls to defend this support level, which is a double bottom. If it breaks, it's a daily downtrend confirming, and we'll zoom out and look for weekly higher lows. Watching the retracement size, again, we're going to get a lot of information. What's the retracement size of weekly consolidation the next time we see it? But we're not going to be looking for it until the daily uptrend is lost. And the Nasdaq was weaker today because you had names like Google. Google had bearish AI news saying, pretty much our AI is not ready to be integrated in their search feature like Microsoft and Bing is doing. So Google had a double top and lost the daily uptrend. And so a lot weaker in Google. Microsoft was inverse to Google on the morning with a ton of strength, but it then rolled over and gave back that strength as well. So Amazon was also weak. Clearly, it was tech and QQQ-related names leading the way down. And again, we just have to see it in XLV, which is still not doing anything. Yes, it's a little bit bearish, but not really having an impact. And XLF is still bullish. We did double top, so a double top by a penny. But I need to see the bears break 36.30 to see a shift in momentum here and a loss of the daily uptrend. Essentially, one of these major sectors has to convincingly join QQQ weakness if we're going to follow through. The dollar has a triple bottom at 103 the last 3 days. And so the bulls want to keep the daily stair-step pattern going to give themselves as much space to work with before that daily consolidation and trend change attempt shapes up. But again, if we set a 4-hour lower high overnight, then that's the futures likely setting a 4-hour higher low and tightening range. And if we do break 103, that's going to be daily consolidation underway for the dollar, and that's going to be bullish for stocks to try and hold these daily uptrends. So if I'm a bull in the broader market, I really want to see the dollar lose 103 support here and start this daily consolidation. Semiconductors, same thing, daily inside bar. So again, if the bulls control tomorrow, then we are still in a daily uptrend, but the setup is there for bears to take out 243.76 and confirm a daily downtrend into weekly consolidation with a ton of space for a weekly higher low. Tesla still grinding, relative strength continues. So broke over the wall of resistance just under 200 psychological and closed above it. The next resistance level I'm looking at is 208.90. And again, just grinding up. Keeping that control for the bulls. Yes, the bull breaks are lacking follow through, but bears aren't proving anything. Still a potential rising wedge-like pattern, but Bears got to prove it. So healthcare we know is not doing a whole lot. Still definitely in a daily downtrend. XLF is still definitely in a daily uptrend. IWM has not set a daily high or low yet. Inside bar today. Testing EMA 12. And the biotech sector was very weak today. Look at that volume spike compared to the last 4 days. The most bearish day we've seen in a few weeks. And even if we hold 86.54, the daily high or low, it's a potential head and shoulders at that point because we've got a lot of space for a daily lower high to be the result of the next bounce. We are over 5% under the recent resistance. So the biotech sector, as far as how far we've pulled back from a recent high, is one of the weakest sectors out there that we keep an eye on, just in terms of the last few days of consolidation. Riot. So I'm in a Riot swing short, just a remaining position from a day trade. I was talking about it while I was live streaming crypto, and I was shorting on this way up for the 15-minute lower high. Didn't get quite the position I wanted because this pullback happened while I was live streaming, but nice tightening range. And the reason I'm in Riot is I like the risk to reward here, where if we confirm the daily downtrend and lose the daily uptrend for the first time in over a month and break 618, there is potential nice downside. But that would have to coincide with Bitcoin breaking a base of support. Bitcoin has like 7 support touches between 22.3 thousand and 22.6 thousand. So if they break, I expect a little waterfall of stop losses to trigger all these levels breaking. But tightening hourly range, bulls playing defense. So again, just like if the broader market bounces and forms a 4-hour tightening range, we're going to be watching for Bitcoin overnight to do the same thing. But for now, the Bitcoin hourly is nice and clear. Lower high, trying for the higher low. Have to confirm the hourly uptrend for the 4-hour bounce to be underway. AI, daily higher low set at 2309, but a little bit of an upper wick. If we lose 2309 from here, we lose the daily uptrend. We didn't get to hourly oversold conditions. We had a nice tightening range. Huge move up, huge pullback, double-digit opportunities in both directions. We had a nice 5-minute rising wedge, setting the hourly lower high here. But ended with a lack of clarity. SOUN is the strongest AI name out there. It's a low cap, but the fact that we hit a higher high today is notable. BBAI, trying to set a daily high or low, but still in consolidation. And again, AI, daily high or low is now set. Pretty much, I'm going to be looking, I mean, there's definitely an impact from the broader market. So if SPY and QQQ hold daily supports and recover from this while maintaining the daily uptrend, we're going to look for AI names to stay hot. And if the S&P 500 and NASDAQ lose daily uptrends, we're going to be looking for AI to cool off. That's essentially what it's going to boil down to, in my opinion, here in the short term. Miners, potential daily bear flag. And you look at gold, potential daily bear flag, upper wicks, weak bounce. Silver, potential daily bear flag. So burden is on bulls in all 3 of these to break the bounce highs to prove to us that a bear flag is less likely, but a very weak bounce attempt at this point. Oil, nice follow through for the bulls, breaking resistance of $78. We will still have to confirm a daily uptrend eventually, but the bulls have a lot of space for that daily higher low to form on consolidation. And again, we're right back in the middle of the range that we've been trading within for the last 2 months. Natural gas, daily bear flag in play. Cooled off RSI on all time frames and back to testing the low of 244. It's a double bottom at the moment, but again, to see a nice little bounce and then just give it back that easily, obviously a red flag. Bulls would have to get over 275 to try and negate it. And we got a lot of space for lower highs on bounces, whether it's the hourly or the 4-hour. So no sign of any longer term bottom at this point, and just keeping an eye on this weekly stair-step pattern. And again, just being picky and making the bulls prove that something is shifting here. So that's where we stand heading into tomorrow. Overnight, do we see the 4-hour equilibrium shape up to give the bulls a chance to salvage the daily uptrend? Or do we open weak tomorrow and we have some data pre-market, but that would keep these key supports in play first thing tomorrow? Whereas if we do bounce overnight, then it's going to be anybody's game as far as the way that this 4-hour range can break. So burden is on bulls overnight to try and get a 4-hour bounce going. And that is what the bulls want to see break. All right. Hope you're well. Do good things. Next couple days, pretty big end of the week. We're either going to lose the daily uptrend and be on the verge of weekly consolidation, or keep it and have some more frustrated bears. See you tomorrow. So for this week, we're going to wrap it up with some more pictures and adventure time, but then we're going to get back to some real life stuff. I'm going to be moving into a short-term place while I continue scouting to buy a mini farm, but going to be growing a whole bunch of stuff, so I'll record some stuff about growing stuff and the nice springtime stuff. So here we got Florida. If you're going to camp in Florida, do it in the winter or the early spring or the late fall. This trip was in the winter and it was great. They got boardwalks going through the swamp area. It's a different world. It's like Jurassic Park. But if you do it in the summer, it was the worst experience I've ever had camping. I had to cut the trip early and go home with my tail between my legs, because literally you get to where you're going, you hike around a bit, you're dripping sweat, the mosquitoes are unbearable the entire time. Anywhere in the shade is all mosquitoes. I would literally have to crawl into my tent at about 3 p.m., naked, dripping sweat, and you could hear the audible buzz of the mosquitoes around the mesh, and I could put my hand to the mesh and literally see a swarm come to where my hand was. So literally you're imprisoned and there's no way to stay cool. It was just miserable. So, swampy trees, nice big ferns, and you really get to appreciate how well life is at growing, especially when it's in very wet, very hot conditions with the hanging moss everywhere. And all of these trees' branches have just little micro environments all throughout them of tons of stuff growing on them. Those clouds definitely soaked me and let me know that my tent was no longer waterproof. Had that little note on my Facebook post for this picture. But about what was I going to say? I don't know. Something. Great place to camp. Big trees, lots of green. Just do it in the winter. That's a really cool picture. And all that is just moss and grass and plants growing. The leaves just decay and create little soil on top of the branches, and life goes wild. I was going to say, when you're a farmer, you really get to appreciate how good life is at growing as well. With weeds and what these plants can do, you can uproot a weed and toss it to the side, and its roots are going to go right back into the ground, and it's going to stay alive. And it's just, life is pretty incredible with how well it can adapt and survive. So I know that when humans are long gone, life will continue to thrive on Earth. Life's not going anywhere. Humans probably will, but that's a ways away. So I appreciate you watching, and I think I go to Costa Rica next. I forget the last time I went over Costa Rica. I think it was fairly recent. We'll see. I'll dig something else up to talk about, and I hope you have a good day.